obviously, I do not know what they watched. I did not see it. We were not allowed to watch. We had to stand on our spot backstage. So it sounded like they really liked it, which is really, really exciting. I saw the title card, which looked great.
Whenever the lead actress arrives at the cinema, and the auditorium is so empty that you would assume they were testing the fire alarms, you know that the movie was a complete and utter failure. In fact, there is Rachel Zegler sitting in a theater that was completely empty while watching the latest box office failure that she starred in, Snow White. It is important to note that she did not only star in Snow White, she also starred in what is now widely regarded as one of the most devastating meltdowns in the history of Hollywood. In addition, let's be honest, it wasn't just a failure at the box office, it was a PR disaster that could have defined a career. Rachel did more than just damage a few relationships. She completely destroyed the entire castle with her political rants and her dispute with her co-stars. And now, after dragging the movie through every different kind of controversy that could possibly exist, it has finally dropped. And, yep, she has fully lost it. Now, let's begin by discussing the entire situation with the theater being empty. It was rumored that Rachel arrived there with a number of pals, most likely only to cushion the blow, because this did not feel like a movie premiere. Rather, it felt like a school project. Fans have attempted to spin it in a way that suggests, oh, they just rented out the entire place. But this does not really explain why everyone else is posting the identical experience of being in an empty theater location. Even when I went, and I'm telling you right now, I didn't really want to, but I kind of had to. I could have laid out across 3 rows and nobody would have noticed. I was pretty sure that nobody would have seen. The situation was made even more embarrassing by the fact that she filmed herself purchasing the tickets, as if this was supposed to be a pleasant moment. On the contrary, it merely became a source of meme fuel. On Instagram, everything was captured. Everything was captured via TikTok. Only every social media channel was able to bring her down. The event that was supposed to be a big red carpet occasion ended up feeling more like a live stream of her career, stagnating in real time. The phrase, "Haha guys, look at me, I'm self-aware," is an example of someone who is attempting to lean into the hate, but it could only be successful if others truly like you first. Yes, it wasn't the case at all. That being said, let's go over the numbers because they are painful. According to reports, Disney spent over $370 million on this issue between development and marketing its products. Snow White was transformed into a bizarre social commentary that nobody asked for, and it cost about $400 million to do so. In addition, what did they receive in return? A launch that brings in $43 million, and that's before walkouts. Approximately halfway through, people were departing. This is less than what Dumbo made, and that elephant had wings in the year 1917, if I recall correctly. In its second weekend, Snow White experienced a loss of 66%, bringing in only $14.2 million. And this is despite the fact that Disney's name was still attached to the film. While everything was going on, the #1 slot was casually taken by the action movie A Hard-Working Man, which had a lot less promotional material and was released in 1,000 fewer cinemas. Permit that to sink in. There was an ordinary action movie that just beat over Disney's most famous fairy tale of all time. It just took one weekend to win, but it still managed to accomplish this. Despite having only half of the screens, The Chosen: Last Supper came very close to surpassing Snow White. Also, with Minecraft being released the following week, the is without a doubt the conclusion of the matter. Taking into account the expenses, analysts estimate that Disney has suffered a loss of more over $100 million as of the 30th of March, 2025. The global box office is currently at approximately $143 million. In addition, the IMDb score slipped to 1.5 out of 10 at one point, as if the ticket sales weren't already a sufficient disappointment. That's not just terrible, it's hide this movie under the castle and never speak of it again bad. That's a really serious problem. Again, this is the same firm that made the remake of The Lion King a billion-dollar phenomenon, but here, individuals were displaying theater seat maps with so much blue that it appeared as though someone had purchased the ocean. That is very hilarious, especially when one considers that Rachel once boasted that people would line up to see her movies.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her.
Despite this, they did wait in line to get seats to a show that was the complete opposite of Snow White. The high-definition tapes of her saying that came back to haunt her like karma. However, here is the catch. This was not merely a poor film. Rather, it was an act of self-sabotage. Rachel did not merely play a role in it. Rather, she actively detracted from the promotional run. In the original 1937 version of Snow White, she referred to it as weird, accused the prince of being a stalker, and basically stated that the entire story needed significant revisions.
You know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. So we didn't do that this time. She's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be. The cartoon was made 85 years ago, and therefore it's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power.
See, the original cartoon is quite ancient. It is out of date. However, that is not the goal here. If you are given the opportunity to play the lead role in a remake, you should probably refrain from destroying the original as soon as you grab the microphone. Subsequently, she reinforced her position by openly advising specific political groups not to watch the movie, stating, "Trump supporters? I'm sorry, bro, but you're not running for Senate. You're participating in a family movie. When you go out and tell half of the country, I don't need your business, you shouldn't be surprised if people follow your lead and choose to do business with you." And then there was the drama involving Gal Gadot. Because of the level of animosity that existed between them, Disney apparently felt the need to boost Gal's level of security. All of this is a result of Rachel's tweet, which caused a tsunami of criticism to be directed toward her. In essence, she posted that the trailer had received approximately 120 million views, celebrating while writing Free Palestine, with Gal Gadot being from Israel, of course. You know, being a source of tension, the situation became petty when Rachel referred to Gal as a pageant queen in an interview, and then she entirely ignored her in a heartfelt cast shout-out on Instagram's platform. Is it a coincidence? Is there shade? You make the decision. But at this point, it wouldn't surprise me if Gal was sitting in her mansion, sipping tea, and taking pleasure in the fallout from the entire situation. As this was going on, the public relations team at Disney was working overtime, like full-time job with no days off. They went so far as to hire a social media expert to take control of Rachel's account. The purpose of this particular individual was, of course, to keep an eye on her teenage behavior because, in all honesty, she is acting like a 13-year-old on social media. But you're right, it's already too late here. According to what you are aware, this social media manager, or expert as Disney refers to her, is not going to preserve anything. It was like attempting to maintain control of a raging fire. To put it simply, Rachel Zegler is publishing an excessive number of blogs with the intention of provoking controversy and attempting to demonstrate anything to anyone, if anyone. The Disney princess that you are. Just go about your work, be a part of the movie, and have pleasure in your life. I don't see why she is causing such a drama on social media for a film that is intended for a family audience. It's estimated that the bulk of this audience is between the ages of 3 and 10. There is no social media presence on their end. Who exactly was she attempting to debate with? Then, she had already gained widespread attention for her behavior, which included degrading the original, abusing fans, and turning a movie that had made $370 million into an internet joke. Because it had gotten so out of hand, one of the producers had to personally travel out to attend a meeting that was strictly private. It is said that even Spielberg raised an eyebrow in response to how chaotic everything became. Rachel eventually issued an apology on social media, but it was so phony and robotic that it could have been written by Mickey Mouse himself. The apology was a complete and utter failure, and the fans? They were not buying it, that's for sure. The Hollywood industry had already ghosted her by that point. She was said to have been interested in providing the voice for a character in Toy Story 5. It's gone. Did you have a part in the upcoming Pirates of the Caribbean film? Thrown away. Were you in discussions with Blumhouse about creating a horror trilogy? Not any longer. The reason behind this is that she is no longer renowned for her box office statistics. Rather, she is known for her drama, and studios do not want that smoke. In spite of everything that had happened, she continued to attempt to describe Snow White as emotional and life-changing in a post. Nevertheless, the only feeling that this movie evoked was second-hand humiliation. This was due to the fact that the screenings were empty, Gal was awkwardly silent, and there was an endless wave of damage control. Rachel is now Disney's poster child for how not to modernize a classic, while Snow White can be considered the poster child. In a record amount of time, she went from being a budding star to a walking PR warning. Because when you combine ego, politics, and a fairy tale that is worth $370 million, you shouldn't be astonished when the whole thing falls apart like a house of cards. Rachel didn't just fumble the bag, she turned the entire rollout into a cautionary tale. She fought fans, she beefed with co-stars, and she watched her movie perish in real time. So yeah, she did all of those things. Well, it is Hollywood after all. You may be the next big thing one moment, and then the next, you could be a meme. In any case, I hope you all had a good time. What are your thoughts on this terrible movie? Please share them with me. Is it really as awful as many are saying it is, or is Zegler misrepresenting the situation by making it appear much worse than it actually is? I hope you all had a good time. If you did, please like, subscribe, and comment. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all in the future posting.